Hello, welcome to Crazy Talk Analytics. My name is Will, and I decided to go ahead and create another video in my series I am titling Excel Scrolls, a most unofficial The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era Excel-based simulator. And if you haven't noticed or haven't caught on yet, this is not an official product. It's very much unofficial. I am in no way related to or affiliated with Chip Theory Games or Bethesda. So I just always have to make sure to put that out there so that there's no confusion with what you see. I also recommend that if you want a little bit more background into this, and I'll probably try to do something if there's interest in understanding more of where I got my inspiration and the whole process, maybe I'll do a more in-depth video later, but I do recommend that you check out my introductory video to sort of get a glimpse of the workbook, how it functions, and a little bit more information on the disclaimers and where I get my artwork. So with all that aside, what I want to do in this video is focus on character creation. Because ultimately, creating the character is a very important first step of any game session, and it's also, I think it's a pretty interesting step where you get quite involved in the choices that you make, which are going to be very impactful in how your adventure plays out. Now, please do keep in mind that I only have access to so many classes and so many skill cards, so that does limit what I can do in terms of character creation. I also don't have access to pretty much all of the master side of the class cards that I have, so that's not going to affect my decision too much because ultimately any of my playthroughs are only going to be up through the first session because that's really all I can support without having access to complete gazetteers or region maps, etc. So let's head on over to the race cards and take a look at the selections I'll be making. So I've already given this some thought and decided that I'm going to go with the Breton. So if I pop this Breton card out here, we'll see that the Breton is an opportunist, and once per battle, when you overtax a weapon or armor, and essentially what overtax means is the weapons and armors have abilities that you can trigger during the engage, before you use them, before you roll the dice. So you have to declare that you're using that ability. But they also have a stronger overtax ability, which if you use that ability, you have to discard the item. So it's kind of like you'll use it if you're in a pinch, or you really have to use it because the trade-off is you no longer have it. So with the opportunist, I can't speak. With the opportunist, once per battle, when you overtax a weapon or armor, return the item to your pack instead of discarding it. You may then move a different item in your pack to a ready slot. So I see this as being two huge advantages. One is it makes overtax or using overtax not so punishing anymore, and you get to use that ability without risk of, sacrificing or losing that item at least once per battle. But another thing is that not only are you saving that item, but you're cycling something. You're moving that to your pack, and then you're taking something out of your pack that you couldn't put in a ready slot because you didn't have enough available slots at the start of the battle, and then you're able to then move that in there to take the spot that's left vacant by the weapon or armor that you've basically cycled back to your pack. So there's two really great utilities there. Also, you start off with 5 health, which seems pretty good. Now, the downside is that you only have 1 combat. Cooldown stat's not bad, and you have a high magicka stat. So it doesn't look great in terms of more of a physical combat-focused build, but I might actually lead in that direction. We'll see. I might mix it up and decide ultimately to go with something like Destruction Staff. I'm not 100% set on the skill yet at this point. So I'm going to place the Breton back in the slot and then make sure I have it selected and then select my race. So that places the race card in the appropriate position on my table in my sort of character area. So now we need to go ahead and set up the character stats. So first we'll go ahead and get started with health. I want to make sure I push this button just in case it's going to cause any complications to initiate the program. Clipboard error, just go ahead and ignore that. So I'm going to put my health stat here because I'm boring. I mean, technically, if you wanted to mix things up, you can say, hey, let's put it down here in the left corner or somewhere in the middle. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to push this plus to open up my, refer to it as sort of like the dice tray or token tray. There's no dice here in this section. But I'm going to take this 5 health stat token because our health stat is 5, place it here, and we don't get any tiles because we're just starting off. If I put experience points into my health later, then I can add tiles at the appropriate cost. Now for stamina, I'm thinking about this. Hold on one second. So I'm not really confident yet how I want stamina to build out. So I think what I'm going to do is put it here below health, and then I get 2 tiles for the stamina. So once you make these decisions, you really, for the most part, can't change them. You can untrain, I believe, your Magicka token if you want. I think it was the Magicka you can untrain, and then get that back at a later point in time. But everything else is pretty much set in the positions, which will restrict your advancement in other areas that occupy the same row on your attributes. So that's the stamina. And for Magicka, what I kind of think I want to do with Magicka is put Magicka opposite of my health. I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, but I'm guessing that my health, probably 7 or so, might be sufficient, which would allow me to advance Magicka up to 4, so I'd be able to roll 4 dice per engagement. It could be that you want to do more than that, so you might want to put it somewhere else, or you might have other plans for how to build out your health stat. Everything is going to be different per each individual's preferences. Now my combat die is currently at 1, and I'm thinking about it logically, and I'm not sure how much I can actually build it out or how much it's worth it, especially with such a high Magicka stat. But I'm going to go ahead and put it down here after all, just in case. So we're going to take that and put that lonely 1 combat die there. Worst case scenario, I can build whatever skill I select opposite this if that's what I decide to do, and I have plenty of room if I don't develop my combat die. So let's go ahead and close that out, and then I think I'm all set with these. So that's our health, stamina, Magicka, combat. For our cooldown, having a cooldown of 2, it's not bad. It's about mid, I'd say. We'll go ahead and put that there to indicate 2 for a cooldown. Adjust our health down here to 5. This is where you put 5 health chips under your character. I don't have health chips, so we make do with what we do have. Alright, so now it's time to go ahead and head on over and grab a skill card. And I thought about it for a second while I paused the recording, and I think I'm going to surprise myself. I think I'm going to lean into that Magicka build and actually select Daedric Summoning, which I've always been interested in from the onset. They do recommend that you take a skill that does damage to begin with, so they recommend something like one hand and shield, two-handed weapons, or destruction staff, right? But if we take a look at Daedric Summoning does have this ability here, Daedric Curse, that deals X damage, X true damage to an adjacent enemy. Additionally, there's a result here that allows me to deal 1 true damage. This is this 1 out of 6 result that deal 1 true damage to an adjacent enemy. Then any single adventurer may trigger one of their class abilities that cost 2 tenacities or less for free. Bound armaments also actually looks pretty useful at the end of any unit's turn. So this goes, it looks like in the active slot, these are instant, this is active. At the end of any unit's turn, it should be fine for myself as well. You may choose an adventurer in either light weapon, heavy weapon, or range to perform an engage, rolling 3 enemy combat dice. So this doesn't come out of our own dice pool, it's 3 enemy combat dice. This engage ignores enemy skill, ethereal, and then exhaust this die. So it looks like there's some utility here, and I also know that I believe I have all of the dice on this side of the skill card, so I can probably get more gameplay out of this skill as well. Let me just go ahead and slot this back in. And then, we also get to, at some point, summon a diving cliff racer, or there's another side of that also, so we'll take a look at that when we get it. So let's say select skill, and hopefully that doesn't break. So now we want to place that somewhere. This is actually something I'm looking to build out now, and I'm wondering if maybe, let's put it down here below our combat skill so we have some flexibility there. And now we get 2 level 1 skill dice. It looks like so that's a level 1 skill dice. And also, bound armaments is a level 1 skill dice too. I could have probably done 2 bound armaments if I wanted to, but I think this is fine to get a bit of a mix there. And I really am interested in that Daedric Curse. So as we see here, Daedric Curse, it's a little tiny over here, but Daedric Curse, there's only 1 die available. That's why I only grabbed that 1 die. And Bound Armaments has 2 dice. So I do have dice for this skill card, but the dice are limited. Hopefully that's a good sign and that they're powerful. So we'll find that out as we play. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do now is select our class. And I am definitely going to lean into the class that I have selected. Probably not going to change that up too much. Although something like a Warden or Nightblade, those are all very appealing. But I'm going to go with the Templar. So the Templar looks like they're defense focused, and already having gone with Daedric Summoning, I'm kind of questioning my choice here. But, you know, think of this video as something to tell you that, hey, there is no right or wrong answer. You can build your character however you want to. Just enjoy the game. You might find some things are going to work better together and maybe make it a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, it's really all about just having fun and doing what appeals to you. So with the Templar, I don't care too much about the upgrade condition because I can't upgrade this class. It says if you start your turn in defensive mode, heal for 1 HP. And that's one of the things that appealed to me about this class is the ability to heal. Interrupt. After you deal damage to an adjacent enemy, heal a party member in sight for HP equal to the amount of damage dealt. I would assume that I count as a party member playing solo. Let me see here. That scrolled too fast. Sacred Ground. Remove all status die from any adventure's cooldown track. That's very appealing. So I get to remove that Bane, Fear, etc., whatever I have. As long as I'm in defensive mode, that's what that icon means. You can incur a light fatigue to change your battle form so that you can trigger this, but if you're already in that battle form, which works really good with the class ability, then you're all set. Sun Shield is gain 3 bonus HP. Solar Flare, deal a targetable enemy damage equal to your bonus HP that you've gained from Sun Shield or whatever source that is. And then Luminous Shards, roll 3 enemy combat dice and deal the damage to all targetable enemies. Deal an additional 2 damage to all Daedric enemies. So I really like the flexibility of this card. I like the healing. I like the additional attack from the enemy combat dice. I like removing the status effects from the cooldown track. All of that appeals to me. So we're going to go ahead and select that. So I don't believe I'm missing anything. We can't do our guild card selection, even if we could. Again, what we have for options in terms of the guild quest is limited by the gazetteers that other people made available to us. I don't think I'm missing anything in the setup other than this was a brief oversight, but we're not too late to fix this. When I selected the Daedric summoning skill, I should have set my battle form to magic to match the battle form on this skill card that we see. So caught it before we actually started the first day, which isn't going to be anytime soon, but feel free to let me know what you think about this loadout. Does it make sense? Do you think I should change it? Does it look interesting? Yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and also, again, what you think of this product so far. I'm going to try to tease little aspects of it out as I play, as I go through. So as always, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.